Matthews, I was responsible for construction of 5 cell phone towers in the neighboring county. And also on my property here in Lincoln County, I have 2 carriers, Verizon and AT&T. At a meeting with them today, they're turning on LTE, which is a very high-speed service this week on my property. So AT&T is a little bit behind on that. We've got to have fiber ran up there, but I work very closely with them. I've done a lot of cell tower leases. And what they mean by these restrictions, some of the bigger cities want trees that look like towers, that look like palm trees.
Right.
And things like that.
That's what the lady was explaining to me.
Right, I don't think there's anything that you all have here that you would want a palm tree or a certain look, but New York does it, Florida does it. I think the most important thing here is getting better service.
Right.
I found myself driving down 119 just to get here, and I just live right near Harts Creek, and it'd be much easier to come this way, but I don't because I can't use the phone. But bottom line is I've got a very good working relationship with both those companies. If I can help in any way with anything, just let me know. And they tell me when they're looking at sites and where they're trying to do sites, so I may have some information that they don't share with just the general folks. And just let me know what I can do, and I'll get you that stuff.
I appreciate it. It was, I was talking to this, it was kind of a coincidence that I met this guy named, this Crosby fellow. He lives down Eli, he just moved into the area. And it was just, I didn't know that you worked for, I didn't know that you did this, we're trying to, it was kind of one of those conversations. We're trying to do this in this area. He's like, well, you need to speak with this fellow, and it's just sending out emails and it's trying to, and then people are off on vacation for a week or two, and then they're, and it's hard to, whenever you're trying to make connections with people, because it's a need in our area, it's a need in Harvest, down in Harvest. And so you just try to, and I would like, if you speak with them, talk to them about our need that we have here. And if you, I think all the help that we can get, we're going to take.
Did you have something, sir?
I don't know whether you gentlemen are aware of it or not, and I've been waiting to hear some comments, but I've not seen any in the paper. But if you remember back when that Mauricio came through here, that windstorm, I tried, I was sending a note, I tried dialing my cell phone from my home phone, it wouldn't go through. Tried dialing the home phone from the cell phone, it wouldn't go through. I have AT&T, by the way. And I tried dialing 911 from both of them, it wouldn't go through. Now, whether that existed for a second, a minute, an hour, I'm sure I'm not the only one, but that would create a very, very definite public hazard if you needed emergency help, but I've heard no one address this issue. I think it's something that 911 or someone should, if you care to have me put it in a letter to the commission, I'll be glad to do it.
He was talking about that happened.
Yeah, I think that was
Yeah,
something that Alan was.
Yeah, when that happened, Alan was addressed it with us. I don't remember exactly what he said. We're talking about the 911 director, but there was a problem with the 911 system. It wasn't with our system as much as the backup. I mean, as far as the other relays working or something of that nature, as far as getting things to other places. But that was noted, because I do know
They did address it, yeah.
the 911 did address that at the time.
Good,
And
thank
yet, sure, no problem. Before we go into new business, because on our new business, we kind of went to the point where we review all the motions and make a motion for all of them, but there will be one I'd like to go ahead and review before we get into this, and it will involve Mr. White there. We have a request from Mr. White to request for a road designated as ATV friendly to access Hatfield McCoy. Would you want to talk at this time, Mr. White?
Sure, Commissioner. Do you want me to explain the whole project? I guess.
Yeah, I would like for the people to know
Okay.
some of what we talked about there.
Okay, I purchased 60-some acres out in Corporal, right off the exit. Property came from Seaboard Land Company, Fuel Company. Someone named Mr. McCorkle owned it. I guess that's why McCorkle was named McCorkle. And I own 70 acres in there, 66 acres of that whole ridge, which is in between the interstate and Ivy Branch Road. And we have a cell phone tower on there. We're working with a coal company to do a belt line for them to get coal across the river. But now since Ivy Trail, the Hatfield McCoy group is putting that trail in, we've decided to build 20 upscale cabins on that site to entice people to come to Lincoln County. We'll be able to provide high-speed internet service for them, very upscale cabins. We're going to put gates in, so it'll be like a gated community, have waterfall entrances, things like that. I'm negotiating with Little General and Speedway to put in a C-store there at the exit as well. I think that'll help that community as well as the coal mines. And we're negotiating with an ATV franchise to put a dealership in there too, right at the exit. And part of the need we have to make that work and become successful is to get the folks that are staying at our resort, from our resort over to Ivy. And talking to Commissioner Matthews, there's a few ways to do that. But we do have property that we need probably 100 yards or so to go on that road. I don't know if it's called McCorkle, but it's 119/3 and 119/2. And then Hatfield Road, if you know where that is. And my thought originally when I proposed the resolution that I have was it would be very beneficial for the town of McCorkle to have folks that are up riding on the trails that aren't staying in our resort to be able to access that gas station or C-store to come off the trail and buy fuel, shop in the store, which would increase your tax base and maybe give you more money to give to some of these leagues that are well deserving. Had to throw that in there, Mr. McCann. Always trying to find solutions. But that was my thought on doing the whole circle from Hatfield all the way around. But I understand the concern with the church there. The church, they park on my property as well. And I've never had any conflicts, but the way they would get off of my property would be well away from the church, which would eliminate the noise. And, you know, preferably the whole thing would be better for everybody, I think. But in taking into consideration the church, I do think Commissioner Matthews' plan is having them come down Hatwell and take that other little road, which I think that's where McCorkle ends, is right there. That little split into that dead end area, and opening up that gate for an access is a great idea. And then giving that little portion from the end of my property and Mr. What's his name? Dunlap's property. And I've talked to both, I have two neighbors there. They're both Dunlaps, they're related. And they haven't had any issue with what I plan to do up there, because I went around and introduced myself to all the neighbors, told them what we were going to do, and we only have 3 neighbors other than the church, because the state, as you know, just purchased that curve. Several of those properties and a portion of mine, they're going to widen that curve, I guess, to help get folks through there. So it would be or beneficial for us if we just had that 100 yards or so of whatever that road is to jump up onto Ivy and from Hatwell down to the other place. But the most optimal situation, I think, for everybody, if the whole road was, because I think people would be able to get from that trail in 2 different places out to the C-store and spend money. And that's, I won't own the service station, I'm just going to lease property. So the money doesn't benefit me, but I think the tax generation would benefit the county. Is why we were asking for the entire 1.2 miles, but we can live with either way.
You're basically needing this designation to go ahead with your plans.
Yes, I mean, I'm not comfortable spending, 3 of our cabins are going to be above $200,000. Most of them will be $30,000 or $40,000 cabins, but we're going to do 3 very nice ones. And it's going to be very difficult for me to invest that kind of money, and people have to load their machines up and drive down to Boone County to get on the trail. And I don't think I can be successful, and I mean the resort, if people have to do that. They would go to Boone County and stay as an alternative. And I think that would defeat the whole purpose of the C-store and the taxes you're going to charge me if you do a hotel motel tax, which is fine, I'm all for that. We'll have 80 beds up there, and that would help another revenue stream as well. And if we can't do that road, I just think that will hurt and hinder what I'm trying to do. That would benefit the county, because I do think when these folks come in here, if they've got to load everything up and go to Waterways or go to the new trailhead over in Boone County to ride, they're just going to stay over there. They're not going to spend an hour doing all that and pay the rates that we're gonna need to get for the cabins that we're gonna get. So it will, I'm not gonna say it's gonna kill the project, but it will grow a lot slower
I think
if we don't. And it's not, I don't mean that as an ultimatum, so please don't take it that way. It's just reality. I mean, I want Lincoln County to have the best resort of all these others. I think we have a lot to offer, and I think Southbridge helps us. And obviously, we'll be the first location that these folks come to, and they mostly come from 64 and 77 down into southern West Virginia. And I would like this place to be a flagship, and I would like it to look as nice from the road as your Chuck Yeager Memorial does. Something that substantial, and people want to come here. And I think without having that ATV-friendly route to get on the trail will hinder that substantially.
Questions?
Well, I don't have any questions, guys. You got me persuaded you should have the whole road.
That's, that's why I was just thinking about
And let
this.
me, I'm sorry,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
President. With that, Mr. McCann and Commissioners, my understanding, I've spent since February going to all these different campgrounds and resorts throughout the state and talking to the owners. And what I'm finding is 7.5 months out of the year, people are here from out of town riding the trails. And with that, they come in on Thursday and they leave Sunday morning. So they're getting in late Thursday night. There's really no riding Thursday. Church is Wednesday and Sunday, as far as I know. They'll ride Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. My checkout, like most places, is 10 o'clock in the morning. And so what I think happens with most of the riders is they've got to check out at 10. So like when we all stay at hotels, we're rushing to get out at 10 or 11 o'clock. And I think that's the same thing, and the other folks are telling me as well, is people are loading up, they have breakfast, and they take off, go back home, because they're driving 5, 6, 7 hours. I don't anticipate many ATVs traveling that road Sundays when church is, especially between, I don't know, churches are usually from 10 to 12. I think if they're going to go on the trail, Mr. Matthews, they're going to be out before 10 because they know they have to check out at 10 and they'll be back in. Or they'll go out for the entire day and they'll come back in at 3, 4 o'clock. And I think we miss that church thing. And I certainly don't want to interrupt the church. That's a very nice church there. But I think the noise will be very minimal from the usage standpoint of people driving. They're going to go out on the trail early. They won't be zipping back and forth between 10 and noon. I really don't see that.
You know, the thing with the access point that he was talking about, the gated access we're looking at now, takes the church out of the question.
It does.
And it's closer to your resort than the other part of it. But I'm kind of like Mr. McCann, as far as the entire route, as far as the description that you've given us to look at, because I think that, in looking at it, I think that helps the corporal, because we want it to be ATV friendly through there, even though we don't have the trailhead there. So I think in looking at this, we need to make a decision. I mean, I don't know, and I can understand the churches, may have a problem with it, but I don't know that it'll wind up being a problem. But, I think we got two choices of commission. We can either approve the initial, look at doing the shorter route right now to maybe we could, have you talked to anybody at that church? over
No, I
there?
haven't, and that's what I know that this was on the agenda, and I would, I want development. I think development, we need that in Lincoln County, but I think that we also have a due diligence to the taxpayer, to the people who are there, the people who have lived there for years. And one thing that I don't, and this is from my own personal standpoint, I know that you're putting in a resort, you're putting in and developing this property, and I would want access to the half-acre away from my property if I was going to develop that. And I don't have a problem with that one bit. The only thing that I have in question is it's just a little part of that road that is right there in front of the church building. And I know that there is a significant number of people that go to that church. And I think that in my opinion, I would like to talk to some people in the area. I don't want to make a rush and make a judgment and then come back and find out, well, I probably rushed myself on this. I would like to look at it, and I would like to talk to some people in that area, or actually talk to some people from the church. As far as, the other points, I have no problem with. I mean, I think it's a great idea. I think what you're doing is something that's really good. I think something that's beneficial. And I appreciate you doing that. And after, looking at from, the Google Maps, actually looking at where you're coming off that road, the way the road is actually is going as far as the direction that you're coming off. I mean, you're going directly to to Ivy Road. I mean,
Yes.
it's not like you want to do a U-turn and go back the other way, because at the other side of your property, there's also a place where you'd be coming in.
Mhm.
And, so as far as, that amount of stretching, I don't think that's a deal breaker. But I would like to have some time to talk to some people in that area. I don't have a
It's not
problem
a
with
deal
improving
breaker.
anything else. I mean,
As long as we can get that little 100 yards on the backside, Mr. President, it's not really closer. It would be a longer route. There's two entrances to my property. And our front entrance is going to be the gated area that all the trucks and cars are coming up and down that road, and it's not very wide either. I have the same issues that we have other places. And so I'm trying to contain the ATVs to come off the backside, which is almost straight across from Ivy.
It is.
So if we can't do the whole thing, just having that 100 yards from my hill access to Ivy would work for what I want to do, because it would be difficult for all the ATV traffic to come down the main road where all the cars are coming up, just because they wouldn't be able to pass. I don't want somebody to run over the hill and getting sued the first week either. Because people that aren't from here don't traverse these roads as well as we do, especially pulling a big trailer. So that would be harder to only have it on the front. But if you don't, if you think the church is an issue, I respect that. But if we could just do that little 100 yards, Mr. Matthews, on the backside to get right over the Ivy. Have 2 points.
Yeah.
You come down Hatwell Road to McCorkle and dump into that gated area, then none from that point past the church, and then when you get to the back of my property from there, across the road to Ivy, would work.
What,
But I think for the tax base and getting more people to spend money, having the whole thing would be better for all of us. And again, I think the noise would be minimal, because I'm not seeing anybody on Sundays, because I'll go on the trails on Sundays myself, nobody's on.
It just seems to me like that's what I was looking at, the tax base, and being able to, what looks to me like is gonna happen is that everything's gonna gravitate to the, if you wanna call it the Boone County side,
Right.
to get service, whether it be gasoline, food,
Mhm.
and whatever. And you have lodging there, but these other things will bring people there to spend money.
Right, having the food, because the Little General, they have Subway, Taco Bell, Arby's, they have 7 or 8 different food establishments that they use. And they want a drive-through in there with whatever they do. That's one of their requirements that we're struggling with because of the shape of the property. I don't know if we can get them a drive-through. And again, I don't think that's a deal breaker, but I think having a drive-through just for the local community of a Subway or something would be beneficial as well, which doesn't affect the ATV stuff. What was that? But that's the advantage, and for them, as a business model, they would want as much access as they could get to sell their potato chips and all that
That's
stuff.
what I see, both sides, the Boone County, Lincoln County side, both can be winners in this. thing.
Absolutely.
But if we don't watch, we're just gonna have one side as a true winner, I think.
well, I think it is kind of important too for the people at the McCorkle School, and those people that want to access your convenience store and stuff. I don't know of any place that we, at Hatfield McCoy, while I was on there, that we had a section we could cut out and say you can't ride ATVs here and have it on either end. There would have to be some division, like at the forks of the road above there, or something of that nature. And to me, for as Charles said, instead of just developing right along the 4-lane there, this would allow the public access, I mean, as far as the people that live there, public access into this too. I mean, people, if we just did it to 100 yards or so, which I'm not adverse to doing that right now, I mean, do it as soon as possible to allow you to know that you're gonna have that. But to me, it seems like if we could talk to the people at the church and they don't have a problem with it, I'd rather go ahead and do the whole thing. I mean, to me, it seems
My
like
vote's for all of it.
everybody, go ahead, Richard.
I just want to make a comment if I can. I'm from Cobbs Creek, right off of McCormick. And right now, we've got hundreds of them things running every day,
Yeah.
including Sunday. So what he's wanting to do is not going to hurt, it's just going to help us.
Yeah.
And we missed a good opportunity by letting the trailhead be moved.
Right.
I
We should not let this one slide.
I understand what you're saying, but I also understand that there's people that have lived there for a long time.
I'm sorry, but you got the regulars doing it every day.
And with what he's
I
talking
understand what you're
about,
saying, but I also understand that whenever you have people coming in and you're riding, and you could have 20 at a time, you could have 15 at a time.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have large groups. And I mean, and I understand your argument, and I do. And I'm not opposed. I'm just saying that I think that instead of making a rush decision right now, I think that maybe we can sit back and we can look at this. You can,
Gary?
I'm a member of a local church, and I think that we could get everybody at the table and work something out where everybody's happy. The church is concerned about that, but we're open to ideas and willing to work with it.
and I think that that's what we need to do.
Yeah, I really do think that's a good idea, Gary. If you could,
and Gary,
I don't want this going down 5-6 months down the road. I want him to have an answer. Hopefully, if you get those people together between now and the next commission meeting.
I would like to attend. I mean, I would
Yeah,
like to get
and
down.
let
I mean,
KK come there and y'all talk to them and see if they have a great adversity to that or not.
and I go with you guys as well. and talk
Well,
to them.
and that would be great if you could, guys. So that's the way these things can be worked out, I think, to do that.
And
because-
you're welcome to walk our property, and I'll show you where we're gonna put certain things and all that stuff. And to his point, the people that are riding there now are doing it illegal. No helmets, no protective gear, and it's gotta frustrate the sheriff's
Well, now
department.
that's the thing that we do have done at Hatfield Pool. You know, once we designate
It's
this,
safer.
their rangers operate on that. If you're without a helmet on that, you'll get a ticket. If you're on this road here, if we designate it, by you guys, you have to have all the safety equipment, things to be on the road.
Can we meet this weekend? I'm wanting to break ground, because the
I mean-
trail opens July 15th, and
Exactly.
I want to have some beds there by August at least.
Well, it's our, we meet on June 2nd, what day is it, June?
June sixth.
Sixth. But it would be my intention right now, I mean, if we couldn't get a vote for the whole thing, we're gonna get a vote to that 100 and some yards there, this kind of meeting.
Okay.
Does that sound okay to you? I mean.
I'm ready to vote tonight.
Well, and like I say, I do favor the entire description that you've given me, that I've reviewed and things of that nature, but I do think, to KK's point, I would like you guys to meet with those people at that church and just see if there's a great uproar about it or not.
I would just like to table it until the next meeting. That's what I would like to do. And let's go talk to them. Let's go talk to these people, because, I mean, I think that whenever you have a dialogue, you set up a dialogue with somebody, then you're a good neighbor. I mean, you're being a good neighbor, and you're saying, hey, listen, I wanna, and Gary, you'll be there.
And Gary, some of the things for you all got a lot of property there, because I've researched you all on a vast amount of property. You could even offer parking on certain days and charge money, or even on Saturdays have a hot dog deal for the trail people, and we'll help promote that. But I think it would benefit the church too in the long run. Do you think we could meet after church Sunday? I'll come over. Could you, Mr.
Yes,
Matthew?
100%.
That'd be great, guys, and what we'll do, if it's all right with the commission,
Does that mean you're gonna come to church with us Sunday?
Absolutely.
10 a.m.
What we were thinking about doing is go ahead and table this to the next meeting,
Okay.
then vote on it to the next meeting.
Okay.
And then you will have your chance to talk to the people there. These guys can talk to them.
But if the church doesn't work out, are we
We're
on the same page that
we're
we
going
can
to
do that
give you
100
access,
yards?
we're going to give you access there.
Okay.
It's just a matter of, I feel that it's real, because I had thought about giving it part till we decided on what was going to do with the rest. But to me, we can address this right now by going to the church and saying, are you guys okay with, you know, because I know it's like where I'm at, I have 150 four-wheelers go by my house, I mean, not by my house, but near my house. And they do it every day, just about. Every pretty day, you're going to have them on there. One of the things this does is it allows them to be on there legally if they're properly equipped. It also provides increased security with the rangers traveling that access road. And that's something that's been a benefit at our other places. I will say this, we've had people object to the system before in different counties when I've been on it. And once they get it in there, most of them are so glad it's there. They have other businesses that they couldn't do till they got this system in there. And they see the influx of people coming to it and the amount of monies they bring into it. So
It's true.
and, you know, we really appreciate the investment you've made in there. Of course, we know you're gonna make a ton of money off of it, but I mean, we really appreciate you doing that and take it, because it takes people like yourself and Doc Hill and people that have land over there too. It is more valuable now. It's just a matter of whether we have gold in that land over there. It's just a matter of whether we dig it up or not. And
One thing that we also need to do, the road, the Ivy Branch Road,
Needs widening.
we have to widen that road. We're gonna have to see if we can pass a resolution, to contact the state road so we can widen that road.
we can have that put on the agenda anytime you want.
Do that in the next meeting.
And for you folks that live there, the state is widening that curve, if you know what I'm talking about. That project is gonna be released in August, and they hope to have it done by October, actually, if they're quick. I don't know why they're doing it so fast, but I kind of speculate the trail traffic may have something to do with it.
Yes, let's see.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks. I mean, it's 2 weeks. I mean, it's not gonna make a hill against it. It's not- it's not-
If it helps him, though, it breaks down.
Do you, you're talking about breaking?
You can vote for it all if you want to. If you want to. I mean, I'm requesting this.
Well, we want to do this. Well, that's what we were talking about, is possibly after you all meet Sunday, if you had a consensus, that we may, even to help you get started quicker, we could call a special session just to approve that. If that would be needed. Now,
I don't-
of course,
I
we would
don't-
prefer not to have to do it.
No, I'm an outsider, and I don't want to ask for that. I mean, I've owned this property since '07, so I'm there every weekend, so I only live in Big Creek. But I think if what I'm hearing is the little 100-yard track that we're talking about, Commissioner Matthews, if you are okay with that at some point, I'm okay to start. And then if we can get the whole thing at the next meeting, that's just better. But if we can't, because the church is opposed to it, and we have the little 100-yard area, I don't know if Commissioner Matthews has showed you those pictures, but it's literally, I don't even think it's 100 yards, but I just bought this second tract of land last month to empty my guest down to Ivy Branch. And Mr. Commissioner Matthews seems to know that area better than most of us, but what I guess I'm asking is, we don't have to do anything special. We can meet with the church, and then at the next meeting, we'll come back and try again. And if you can't do the whole thing, if I just have some comfort, like a gentleman's agreement, that the 100-yard part that I'm talking about, well away from the church.
I don't think we have any problem with that.
I mean, it's, you know. and
You know
I
what I'm talking about? I've got a little.
Did you buy Donald and David?
Not yet,
Douglas
not yet, but I bought, Mr. A.J. Belcher, Doc Belcher. He passed and his sister had it.
Does your lane come off the hill beside of Evelyn Dunlap?
Yes, I own that road right now, in that area where you all park, I own that, which I don't care if you park there. But, you know where I'm talking about, that little ridge that comes in, so that's the way they would come down, and they would get on the hard road right there at whoever you just mentioned, and drive that few yards and then up Ivy. So that's all, so we can do it that way at
You
your
know,
next meeting.
I don't want to keep you from your investment, that's what I'm trying to say.
I don't
But I
think
think
you are.
I think that we have a due diligence to speak with the people
I don't disagree. I mean, I just, you know, ultimately, if all else fails, you're okay with,
Well, I think, don't we have to submit this to the state road too, to let them know about it and things like that, and we designate it?
Mr. Luss told me that as long as the commission approved it, it was
They
okay.
accepted,
Yeah.
notification from us.
Because that's the same resolution, he sent me that they've used elsewhere in Mingo County and Wyoming, and did not have any hiccups, but I'm okay with all that.
Well, what we'll do then, if it's all right, we'll go ahead and you all have your meeting with the church there Sunday, and then, get back with us, and we'll vote on doing this next time.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.